let's discuss assessment task 1. So here we've got a series of 8 questions, and students must complete all 8 questions, and you can use these resources here to help you, plus some additional research which I'll discuss with you. So you need to access the World Health Organization website and read about the models for chronic disease. Okay. In previous clusters, we've talked about what a model of care looks like. Okay. So you're looking for information on this website which will give you everything you need to know about models of care for chronic disease. Okay. And the other website you're going to look access is the National Safety and Quality Standards, which you should be very familiar with by now. Okay, so question 1 asks you to define the term chronic disease. That's fairly straightforward, I think. What is chronic disease? Okay, and you could do that in a couple of sentences. Number 2, explain the term chronic care model and list the features of this model. Okay, so what are the different ways in which chronic care is managed? So your answer will vary depending on the model that you choose. So I would choose the model, state which model you've chosen, and then tell us the features of that model. Okay. Number 3, what are the National Safety and Quality Standards? I think that's fairly straightforward. Okay, I want a couple of sentences explanation about what they are. Okay. Number 4, backtrack. Number 3, so you tell me what they are. Moving on to number 4. Identify 3 ways in which the National and Quality Standards can assist you in your practice as an enrolled nurse. Okay, so for this one, I want you to pick a standard. So there's, as you can see up here, there's, you'll see in here, there's 8 standards. Okay, I want you to pick a standard and then give an example of that standard in practice and how that standard assists you in your nursing practice. Okay, so just look at the wording here, 3 different standards, and then how can the standard assist you in your practice as a nurse? So give us an example. All right. Number 5, identify and describe the 6 components of the chain of infection. So this is taking you all the way back to cluster 2 where we covered the chain of infection. So we just need you to, this is a refresher, okay? So we need you to tell me what are the 6 components of the chain of infection. And this is going to be relevant as we move into wound management, okay? Because you're going to start seeing infections in wounds. So this is why it's important to refresh this information, okay? You could just dot point all 6 components, all right? Number 6, there are numerous community and educational resources as well as professional organisations associated with wound management in Australia. List 3 resources, okay? 1 community, 1 educational and 1 professional organisation that could be accessed for contemporary wound management information, okay? So what you could do with this question is I want you to, so think about your keywords, all right? Your keywords here are wound management in Australia, okay? And then once you've Googled wound management in Australia, you need to find through all the resources 1 resource that's based in the community, 1 that's like a professional like an educational resource, so some professional development, and then 1 organisation, okay, that can give you information about wound management. So an example, I'll give you 1 example, and no one is to please list this in their 3 examples, okay, or else I'll be asking you to find another one. So 1 example would be a professional organisation is the ANMF run study days specifically related to wound management and wound management update. Okay, they run wound management days. So the ANMF is a professional organisation and they run information sessions about wound management. Okay, so number 7, provide 2 examples of the following. Again, refreshing your knowledge of cluster 2, so you're recalling all the information you've stored away in your brains about infections and infection control, okay, because this is really important in the way that you manage chronic disease and wounds, okay. So we want you to 2 examples of a fungal infection and then 2 examples of a viral infection, okay. So you should have 4 things listed in total, all right. And number 8, identify 2 strategies that you would use to minimize cross-infection of microorganisms during wound assessment and management. Essentially, what do you do when you're doing a dressing to stop cross-infection? Okay, 2 strategies. What are 2 things you would do to stop cross-infection? Okay, and that's it for assessment task 1.